So while I'm out here, I want to talk about 5 tips that I've used recently for organizing all my important stuff, all my gear, my kit, my objects really. So when I say kit and gear and that kind of stuff, that's both for work and life, for camping, for my camera gear, for just life gear in general, things that you might need for your car or so on and so forth, right? This is all things that involve your life. And this is the method that I've been using to really hone in on organizing these objects and keeping them effective in being a utilitarian tool for me in my life, as compared to it being the other way around, where my life is being led by these objects around me. So the first tip for me to help organize all my objects, all my things, is to just get it all out. Get it all out. Get it all out into your living room or whatever kind of big space you have, and just bring it all out. Bring it all out and just have it be visible. It's gonna be ugly, it's gonna be awkward, it's gonna be stepping over stuff. That's my belief. It has to get ugly. It has to all come out. It has to all come out, all out on the floor in your living room, just like this. It has to be that, because otherwise, you're never gonna see it. You're never gonna see, there's gonna be little bits and pieces missing around somewhere. There's gonna be things you forgot about. You really, really, really just have to just get it all out in the open. You have to make it really ugly before you can really start to see any change. I think that's kind of a symbol for life, where in order to get any gain, to go anywhere, you have to make it uncomfortable. You have to make it kind of unsightly for a little bit, just so you can get to a certain place, right? So my second tip is to evaluate your use case. How am I going to use these objects in the next season, in the next year, in the next quarter, in the next couple weeks? How am I going to use these objects? Is it for work? Is it for play? Is this for family? Is this someone else's? Is this someone else's, my family's thing? Is this my spouse's thing? Is this my kid's thing? Try to imagine in the foreseeable future how you're going to relate with these objects. I am totally wearing the wrong shoes for this. Start to block things together. Start to see how things fit in relation to each other. Do I usually use these two objects together? Do I usually grab this at this time, grab this at this time? If I grab this, do I usually want this in relation to this, right? Start blocking things together. Then you can start to kind of imagine, okay, well, can I put that in this box? Can I put that in this box? If I put that in this box, am I gonna want to bring this whole other box with it? Like, start to kind of put things in places and start to kind of feel it out. Put things together, start to kind of categorize things. And that in the past for me has helped the process kind of come along when it comes to putting things together and starting to organize, categorizing the type of things. Looking a lot better now. Real quick though, I will say, I'm gonna hit the squat. There we go, I'm squatting. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna hit this pose. This pose is kind of ridiculous, but whatever. If this is bringing you any value at all, please hit the like button. I would really appreciate that. And probably more so than that, I would appreciate some constructive criticism. Help me out, help me help. Oh yes, back to the video. So tip number 4 is to label and or color code everything. I'm talking everything. It is unbelievably helpful to have different colors for different things and have labels on top of stuff, right? This might be a little sub tip, but you can even make a little handbook just for you and your family, or you and the people you might be camping out with or hanging out with or working with, and have a little handbook that says this is what this means, this is what that means, and just have a whole team, a whole group of people on the same page about what color means. My last tip here is to prioritize based on usage. If you use it more frequently, put it in the front. If you use it less frequently, put it in the back. So that might sound pretty obvious about doing that, about putting things that you use more often in the front, but to me, it's not quite that simple. It's more so about just actually having used your gear over a period of time and knowing what piece you grab for more often than other pieces, right? As your lifestyle shifts and as your lifestyle changes, as priorities come up and some come up and some go away, you get a better idea of what things need to be where. So when I say this tip about prioritizing based on usage, it's fluid. It's not a static, it's not rigid, it's not set in stone. It changes as your life changes, as your priorities change. That's my last tip, my last official tip, but I still have a couple more bonus tips. So I just walked up a hill, so I'm gonna have a seat real quick. Oh God. Okay. Bro, am I here winded? This one might be a given. This is my little bonus tip. Might be a given, but if you have something that you don't need anymore, give it away or sell it. I mean, pretty much that simple. Just shed frequently, on some sort of frequent basis. Just shed some objects that you're not using anymore. So here's another bonus tip. I already kind of touched on this, but do this often, right? Do this as often as you need to. Do this every quarter, season, half season, year, 2 years, whatever, right? And to evaluate that and to go through that on some regular basis, and to even work in tandem in working with your current gear, and to better refine and better hone in your organizational process and your standard operating procedures, and all that stuff is nothing but good, in my opinion. It's nothing but good. So focusing on that and doing it frequently would be my other tip. And my last tip, my very last tip here, my last bonus tip is redundancy. Now, I can do a whole video on redundancy, and you can leave a comment down below if you want me to do a whole video on redundancy. I'm a huge fan of redundancy. I mean, to an extreme point where within one kit, right, I have multiple versions of things. I have multiple different ways of capturing audio. So in the event that one thing goes down, I have another to back it up. Not only that, but I have a whole separate kit for a whole different idea for this, what I'm doing right now, which has its own audio setup, which has its own cameras, which has its own lenses, which has its own tripod, it has its own complete setup. So not only do I have redundancy in the kit, I have redundancy outside of the kit as well. The peace of mind, once you have backups on backups, there's a saying that if you don't have 2 cameras, you don't have one. If you're going out on set and you're doing a shoot and you don't have 2 cameras, you don't have one. I have like 6. So my last tip here, that I'm going to end the video off on this note, is redundancy, right? Is when it comes to your organizational setup, when it comes to organizing all your things, when it comes to your relationship with your objects, have redundancy, because then you absolutely know without a shadow of a doubt, I know this stuff is over here, which is what you want with your organization, right? This stuff is over here, this stuff is over here. And I know that's all taken care of, it's all set up, everything I need is self-contained in here and in here.